If I lived in Clacton right now, my vote would not go to an establishment politician, to a career politician, or someone with, the National Party behind them. It would go to the space warrior from Planet Sigma 9, Count Binface. Now, I know how that sounds, and you might think I'm just saying that because losing to a bin would make Nigel Farage look ridiculous. But as this election campaign has unfolded, I believe he's actually the best candidate for this job. So I've got three key reasons that I just want to talk through for why, if I was in Clacton, I'd be putting my ex next to the bin. And I think that's exactly what you should be doing tomorrow, or today if you're watching it on the day of the election. So the first point is the whinge fest versus the actual local presence. And you can start with why this election is even happening. The entire reason this has been, that Clacton has been dragged back to the polls, it's not because of some sort of local crisis or there's some serious policy that needs testing. It's because of Farage has been on the dodge, taking bungs, and as the news is now starting to come out that apparently he was advised that if he called this election and got re-elected, the investigation would stop. So despite everything he said, it certainly seems there's a strong possibility that he called this because he thought it would get rid of that investigation. So the whole reason is about him. It's not about you. He's not called this election because it's better for Clacton, because it's better for you. He's called it because it's better for him. And that carries through into every campaign video that he's done. They're all about him, his battle with the establishment, his battle with the media, the fact that he's the poor little victim and he's the one that everyone's mean to, and he's the most endangered politician in history, despite the fact that Joe Cox, David Amis and now Anne Widdecombe were all murdered. Yeah, it's poor little Nigel that's the blessed little victim. And every single bit of campaign literature has been about him. You need to give him his mandate. By voting for him, you're clearing him of the charges. He's not offering you anything in return. And he doesn't talk about Clacton in any of his promotional material for this election. Binface, however, he's actually been out and about. He's been up in Tendring. He was up at the Octagonal Tower. He's been out learning about the place, learning about the people, and trying to figure out what would actually make a difference in Clacton. And even on his manifesto, he said he will spend more time in Clacton-on-Sea than in Washington, D.C. Now, yes, that's a joke, but it points to a serious truth, which is that Farage seems to spend most of his time trying to feather some sort of future nest over in America with who he wants us to believe is his best mate, Tangerine Jesus. But the brutal truth is, the guy with the bin on his head is paying a lot more attention to local constituents than the incumbent MP ever did. Reason 2, and this is about the serious points hidden in joke policies. Now, we've already covered one of them, spend more time in Clacton-on-Sea than in Washington, D.C. Yes, it's a joke, but it's making a serious point. And there are many others where the same applies. The 99p flake and the 199 bus fares, they sound a bit daft, but it's talking about shrinkflation, it's talking about wage stagnation, it's talking about the cost of living crisis, and the fact that rural towns like Clacton, and actually like the one that I live in, have absolutely terrible public transport. He's promised to build at least one affordable house. Every single year, every single election, politicians promise to build hundreds of thousands of homes. We're going to build 1 million homes. And they never do it. I don't know what the figures are for Labour at the moment, but I gather they're behind. Yes, they've got a long way to go in the Parliament, but no one ever achieves what they set out to do. And to be fair, he did say at least one. So even if he manages to build 10, this is more than Mirage will have done for you. So then we've got another joke policy, which actually came from a little boy, to force oil and gas companies to pay for solar panels on every roof. Yeah, again, a joke policy, but it's highlighting the fact that the oil and gas companies are getting rich while we are paying higher and higher bills and the planet is getting dirtier and dirtier. So there's a serious point there. And then my last and probably my favourite joke one is tying MP salaries to nurses' salaries for 100 years. So this means that every time MPs vote to give themselves a pay rise, they have to give the nurses the same pay rise as well. Which not only is it a good plan, because I think the nurses do deserve to be paid more anyway, but it also highlights the difference between them and us. You know, they want their pay rises, but they're happy to restrict the whole of the rest of the public sector. Now, I get there are relatively few MPs compared to nurses, but that's what you're paid to do. You're paid to take the difficult decisions. So reason 3, and my last one, is political integrity and giving back. And I'm not talking about giving £1,000 to one charity when you've just received a donation of sorry, not a donation, and that's it, an unconditional gift. Yeah, when you've just received an unconditional gift of 5 million. And you give £1,000 to charity and you want everyone to bow down at your feet for it. That's the equivalent of someone on an average salary putting £1 in the charity jar in the supermarket and then running out into the car park and announcing to the world, I just put £1 in the charity jar, everyone worship me. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really giving back. Binface, throughout all of his appeals, any surplus money has always gone back to shelter. There are there's merch available through his site, so you can buy t-shirts, you can buy little models. A huge amount of money from that goes to charity, goes to charities like Shelter. So social conscience is baked in to what Binface does, whereas £5 million gifts is baked in to what Nigel Farage does. That's the difference. That's what you're getting. So yes, he's not part of a mainstream party, but he has integrity, he has intelligence, and you can see by the joke policies that he understands the serious issue. So when you line it all up, I don't think the choice is between a serious politician and a joke politician. I think the choice is between a joke politician who whines on and on about how he's the real victim and everything, and a guy who wears a bin on his head. And if I had a vote in Clacton, I'd vote for Count Binface. And if you want an MP who actually values the area and will work for the area, I think you should too. So let me know in the comments. If you live in Clacton, if you're going to vote for the bin, do let me know. And please do drop a subscribe and drop a like. It really helps us. We're really, really happy with how this channel's starting to grow. We love you all. Thanks so much to all of you for all the comments. Please let us know in the comments. If you vote for Binface, we want to hear from you. You all take care, and I'll see you in the next one.